pads are useful for their purpose, but they are no substitute for brains.
All right, here we go.
I have to say, well done, Ray. Well done. Well played, my adversary. Well played.
Phoenix isn't gay, but if he was, he'd pick Fremont.
Oh yeah, he'd be living down there with you in the bunker, man. Woo!
Once you go free, you always do the Z.
Like one day of not going to Duncan, and you could get a controller, a new Xbox, possibly even a cord.
Technical difficulties have occurred with the hosts of this podcast. Please do not adjust your broadband connection. Thank you.
Welcome to BGFG episode 464. I'm your host, Chris Phoenix, and joining me, as always, my brother from another mother. From his deathbed, he has risen, Mr. Fremo Z.
Yes, sir. It's a great weight loss plan. I just don't recommend it.
Yeah. Man, sometimes, like, there's occasions when, and for you young folk that might be listening, there's occasions where you're like, oh, flu's going around the workplace. I wouldn't mind a couple days off. Because, you know, you survive the flu enough times, you're like, okay, I'm just going to, sit on the couch or sit in bed, watch some TV and, not do much. But then you get those really bad ones where you're like, I just want to die. Spiking temperatures and things coming out both ends. So that sounded like you.
Oh yeah, I mean, without getting too graphic, my colon was very active for about a day and a half.
Oh, I've been there.
In a not so solid kind of way.
That is rough right there. But you're feeling better now, right?
Oh yeah.
That's good. That's good because we had a lot to talk about this week. A lot of funny things.
Little fermented corn.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. All right.
Some corn squeezins.
Yeah, that'll be it a little bit.
That'll knock anything out of you.
Yeah, that will.
Nothing can survive in your bloodstream if you have some of that.
I can attest to that 100%. Let's get to this week's
Including
news.
Your blood. You feel a little lethargic. You need some new red blood cells. I got your answer right here.
BGFG News. You heard it here third.
All right, first up in this week's news, you can't.
Hey, before we get into the news, I got a quick question.
What's that?
What is the season pass for Space Marine 2?
I don't believe I got it. It's like free DLC and stuff like that's pretty much it.
Okay. I'm just wondering.
Yeah, I didn't bother. But it is a fun game. We'll talk about it in a little bit. So first up, 23andMe is up for sale. So those who don't know, 23andMe is when you send in your DNA, your spit, and they'll tell you all sorts of things depending on how much money you want to spend. They can tell you where you're from. They can tell you, what type of medical issues you may or may not have. There's a bunch of little things that 23andMe did, but they've been in some hot water for a while because some of the things that they were doing weren't exactly truthful, weren't exactly coming out right. I mean, I don't know. But their stock is on the verge of being delisted right now. And they shut down their in-house.
Ain't good.
No, and they shut down their in-house drug development too. They've had several rounds of layoffs. And then to top it all off, their entire board of directors quit. Just quit. Left. Shit's going sideways when your entire board of directors quits.
Can you imagine being the chair in that meeting? Some guy stands up and goes, all I want to know, who's coming with me? Because that's so how I would do it.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Absolutely. The CEO then came out and said that she's willing to sell the entirety of 23andMe and all their holdings. Now, this becomes a problem because that means that all the DNA records of some 15 million customers will be up for grabs to anybody at any time, as long as they buy it. And because of the way the company is structured, it doesn't fall under HIPAA. So it's whatever you want. And if you look at the EULA for 23andMe, it clearly states that they ever merged or got acquired, then all the data is sellable.
Yeah.
So you're kind of screwed. Now, what can they do with
I know.
data?
Man, here's my thought.
Okay.
This will be owned by a Chinese company very quickly.
What are they going to do with it? Like what? That was the what I was going to bring up is what are you going to get? You have DNA. Yeah, but what are you going to do with that? Clone people?
Targeted biological warfare.
Oh, see, I wasn't even thinking that. Now I'm terrified. Son of a...
Have you done 23andMe?
No.
Well, don't.
My wife did.
Double or life insurance policy.
That's a good idea. I should. Yeah, just in case, honey. Just in case. Just gonna... Just on the happenstance that something might happen.
No, I mean, seriously. I mean, I'm joking around a little bit. Obviously, I'm joking about the wife. God bless her. Don't want her to go anywhere ever. But
Sure.
yeah. I mean, you got a whole crap ton of people's DNA records, and it's not likely that out of the what'd you say, 50 million people or however many it is.
It was like 15 million.
15 million. Okay, it's not likely that those are mostly third world people.
It's true.
With disposable income. This is going to be largely first world established people with money.
Right.
And hey, let's give this a go and see what this is all about.
Man.
Because you only need the DNA of the progenitor, the original.
Yeah.
To be able to affect the rest of their bloodline.
Yes, that is true.
And we know that from the Underworld movies. Correct.
I was just gonna say that. All right. Okay. Your buddy Elon has now surpassed 4 million users on his Starlink.
Yes. And he has some businesses out there using Starlink.
Yeah. It took them 4 years and about 6,000 low Earth orbits to get to that number. And don't forget, they're looking at about 72,000 total satellites.
But here's the interesting thing. It took them that, you say, 4 years to get how many? 3 million subscribers? How many was it? 4 million.
4 million.
Yeah, 4 million. So that's like 1 million people a year on average signing up. But if you look at the curve of it, it took them like a while to get the first
2.5 years,
like a couple years.
Yeah.
Right. And then 2 million 9 months later, 3 million a few months after that, and then 4 million like in a blink of an eye almost.
Yeah. It's high-speed internet, but it's not what people think. Like, I've had people come in and ask about it and like, I want an alternative. I hate the cable company. I love how they always do that. I hate the cable company. Oh, they're stealing my money. Look, I've said it once, I've said it 100 times on the show. The cable company is not stealing your money. The cable company has to pay for trucks to be out on the road. And the worst part about the cable company and the cost is the companies that you're watching. If you want Discovery Channel, Discovery owns a shit ton of channels, and they will hold the cable company over the barrel to try to get that money from them. I remember
that's true.
Like 10 years ago, the NFL, just for the Sunday ticket, the NFL wanted like, $1 billion or something ridiculous like that to cover it. And because it's such a moneymaker, they have no choice. The cable companies have no choice but to pay that money. And if you do a quick search online, you'll see that some of these companies own a lot. We're seeing it now with streaming services. It's even worse with the cable channels. So the high-speed internet for Starlink it comes at a cost. And you're not going to be playing video games on it either. Residential is $150 a month and $500 for the dish. Then you have unlimited roaming, which is $165 a month with a $500 dish. And then if you have a boat, you can that's going to set you back. Well, you got a boat, so come on. That's going to set you back $1,000 a month, but only $300 for the dish because it works with all the other dishes that they have on the boats. And now they just announced a mini dish, which is only $600 that you can take with you and backpack it with it. The typical download speeds on Starlink is 25 to 220 megs a second. That's not a lot at all. You're not going to be playing video games.
Yeah.
You're not going to be. It's enough to check your email, and you're not going to be playing video games on it. The upload is like 10 to 20 megs, and it's a 50 millisecond ping time on this. So you may be able to stream content, maybe, but you're definitely not video gaming. You're basically checking your email and doing a quick search on the internet, maybe getting a GPS location, something like that.
Yeah, but that's with 6,000 satellites. He gets to 72.
How's the speed going to? Well, I see what you're talking about, because if you have more up there, you can, but I don't see how the speeds are going to get that much better.
It'll happen.
You think so?
Yeah, it'll happen eventually. Okay. I mean,
but you can get service anywhere.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So that's a benefit. So if you live out in the middle of nowhere, you can still get service. Again, for people that are living out in the middle of nowhere, a good thing, let me say, for those that have watched Yellowstone, if you have a house in Montana up in a hill in a valley, that doesn't make sense. If you have a house in the middle of a valley,
it's a hill and it's got a valley in the middle of it.
Okay,
you're in a bowl.
If you have a house out in the middle of nowhere, you obviously love nature, and you're never going to be in your house except to sleep and eat. So to have just a Starlink set up so that you can check email is plenty. It's plenty. Because you can still get terrestrial TV if you put a high enough antenna up. So there is ways around it, but you're not going to be gaming. You're not going to get broadband. You're not going to get fiber speeds. It's not going to happen. So again, it's one of those things that I'm like, well, is it worth it? Is it not worth it? But it is pretty cool. And they recently inked a deal with Hawaiian Airlines, so that the Hawaiian Airlines, I think that's kind of smart, because, again, you're in a plane. If you're watching the Planes movie, you might want to send an email, or you might want to get email, or you might, on business trips. Having Starlink access on the plane is both safe for the plane and the people on the plane, as well as good for you to get that information. I think it's a good idea. And speaking of planes, the FAA traffic control system has a bit of a problem. Okay, so my experience with flying. So yeah, there's Phoenix gets made fun of a lot because there's things like I don't go in the ocean because of sharks. I'm not particularly keen on flying, and the reason why, for my honeymoon, my wife and I went down to see Fremo, and because it was our honeymoon, we flew first class, one stretch from my spot to his spot, and it was wonderful. Another time I went down to visit Fremo, didn't have that kind of cake. So I had to take a bunch of little jumper planes everywhere. I ended up in Denver. Just a bunch of connectors. And it was miserable. Yeah.
I didn't realize you had to go to Denver.
No. It wasn't Denver. It wasn't Denver. It was because it was the last exchange, and when
Charlotte, probably.
No. It was it Chicago? No, it was someplace cold. Because that's why I had my sweatshirt and my pants on. So when I get off the plane with you and I come out the
Detroit, I remember
Detroit,
now. You went by Detroit, yeah.
And I get off that plane in Tennessee, and I'm like, "What is this heat?" And you start laughing hysterically because you see me in a sweatshirt. I'm trying to take it off. I'm like, "Oh my god!" Oh, that was fun.
And to compound your discomfort, I offered you a cold beverage.
It was not cold. Barely a beverage. It was like gasoline in a mason jar.
But you didn't catch a cold for like 6 months.
No, I did not. I didn't get any illness at all. Well, the FAA, their systems are extremely out of date. And the thing that really shocked me about this is that they won't be able to update it until sometime in 2030. I don't understand this process. I was reading
through this, man. Wow.
I don't understand this process. 51 out of the 138 ATC systems were unsustainable due to a lack of parts and lack of technology refresh. Now, Remo and I can tell you 150 times that this is normal in technology. When you come out with a piece of software, say, a good example is Pizza Hut back in the day. They came out with a piece of software that ran all the Pizza Huts, and that company was gone. They could not replace them. So what they do is they would take these registers and they would just pass them around the district to whatever else that works because you can't fix them. There's nobody there. What shocks me is that this is the FAA. If you've ever seen the movie
Yeah.
Pushing Tin with Cusack, John Cusack,
And Billy Bob Thornton.
and Billy Bob Thornton, it was crazy. Like the amount of planes, even when we used to talk to Captain Condor, the amount of planes that are overlapping each other and are passing by each other and damn close. You're trusting a computer system that is so unbelievably out of date. There are 17 systems that, and I quote, of concern because they are critical systems and they're out of date. The first one won't be updated until 2030, and others aren't planned to be completed until 2035. And 4 of the systems have no modern equivalent to replace it, which in the computer world, we see all the time. From a handheld unit to a desktop unit to whatever it is. We see that stuff all the time. Fremo's actually dealt with it recently.
I'll make a phone call. I know somebody that can fix all this.
Yeah, but he's just going to throw StarLink on it. So 2 of the other systems are more than 40 years old. 40 years old. You're pushing planes with people on them within, let's say, a mile of another plane in the air passing by.
Probably closer than that in
Think so?
some cases.
This is insane.
Have you ever been to like Dulles or
No.
Hartsfield down in Atlanta?
Maybe the Atlanta one, because that's where we have to drive
Atlanta's
from.
like the busiest airport in the country because of all the international flights coming into it.
It must have been that one.
And just sit there and just look up in the sky, and it's like plane. I flew into Atlanta at night one time, and it looked like a freaking mall parking lot in the sky with all the lights up there.
I can tell you that Rhode Island, being as small as it is, you can pretty much see planes circling and going into land and circling and going into land all the time. It's a normal
Yeah,
occurrence.
but they're not landing in Rhode Island.
Really? Where they
Boston.
landed? Whatever.
I guarantee you those planes you see going over Rhode Island are landing in Boston.
There's an airport 15 miles away from me.
Yeah, and they're not taking 747s.
I don't have an answer to that. I don't know. I just don't know. All right, let's end.
I've been to your airport. I've flown direct from Chattanooga to your airport in Providence.
And
I don't remember seeing any big planes. There were some decent sized planes, but there weren't any big planes at either airport.
All right, let's end the segment on a good note. One of the things I look forward to.
15% with Geico.
No. Well, no. Apple TV will air all 3 Peanuts specials for free. Now, we talked about this years ago. The Charles Schultz Foundation or family or whatever it was.
Not a good note.
Oh, hold on. The Charles Schultz. I did this for you. This piece is. Hold on. I put this in here for you. Apple TV a couple of years ago purchased the rights to the Peanuts shows. Apple TV then proceeded to lock them down. We complained about Apple TV. Apple decided to lock them down so that you had to pay for them. And of course I did, because they're the Peanuts episodes. What hurts is the amount of money they charge for a 20-minute episode of something. But Apple TV will air all 3 Peanuts holiday specials for free on their service. For free. It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. Hold on. It's the Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown Thanksgiving, and my personal favorite, a Charlie Brown Christmas. But let's not forget, this is Apple. There's times when I sit there and it's like I'm channeling Fremo, because I'm like, what the fuck are you people thinking? Like, for instance, a Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown. I would expect that to be played the whole week for free of Halloween. It's not. Great Pumpkin will be only shown for free on the 19th and 20th. The 19th and 20th. What? Whose thought process was this? The Thanksgiving one will be on November 23rd and 24th.
Back in the day,
Ugh.
these would play on TV. You could see them multiple times.
Yep.
Apple comes along and buys them, locks them down, and then society goes to hell. I don't know if there's a correlation here or not. I'm just saying.
The Christmas episode is going to be December 14th, 15th. I don't even understand why that is the way it is. 2 days. First of all, you're giving us 2 days.
A week before, roughly.
Right. You're giving us 2 days, and you're giving it a week before. So still,
Or 10 days before.
I get to use the purchased version to watch it on Christmas Eve with my family. Which, by the way, at this point, my kids are old enough, all 5 of them. They are out, and I ask every one of them before they leave. I'm like, hey, you want to stick around, just watch a Christmas episode? They're like, nah, Dad. I'm like, but it's only 20 minutes. It's not even that long. Nah, Dad. So I end up sitting there with, like, usually whiskey or something, some expensive liquor in a little glass by myself in the living room in the dark.
Crying over the little Christmas tree.
Right, crying over the Christmas tree. The songs come up and I start tearing up. Those are great songs. Vince Gubaldi.
I think that's right. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Those are just by far. You'll hear them on the show. I guarantee you. The show that we do before Christmas, it will end with that song. I think it is Christmas. That song is Christmas to our generation. Period. You can say whatever else you want. Die Hard for a movie. Christmas rapping by the waitresses. But when you hear that Christmas song from Charlie Brown Christmas, it just brings you back. It brings you back to snow. It brings you back to that good feeling. All right, let's get to this.
The world made sense.
Right. All right, this week's music.
Yeah, don't let me get started. I'm feeling froggy today.
This week's music is from a band that was formed in 2004, psychedelic rock band from Austin, Texas, called the Black Angels. This song is called the Entrance Song. We'll catch you on the other side for some stick style and other funny things.
Rolling fast down I-35.
Not a bad song. Very groovy. Very, very got a good groove to that.
Yes, it does.
I like that. Good song. All right. So before we get into six style, here's some fucking stories. What are we drinking? I have grabbed the old Hoongarden, and you have a big jug of something that I'm pretty confident is clear liquid.
That's water. This, however,
Oh, you going with the Rolling Rock?
yeah,
Yeah, nice. Cheers.
clink.
That's a good beer. And now that it's fall, I'll be getting my Modelo Negro going. Do love that beer.
So satisfying.
All right, let's get into six style.
Gaming.
So first up, NVIDIA is outside of their mind. And if you look at the picture that we put in the stream, that's the new 5090. It's not, but it's like the size of your case.
Yeah.
This is just a leak, but it's from a reliable person. The card, the 5090, will offer 32 gigs of DDR7 on it, a 512 memory bus, and that thing is going to need 600 watts of power. That is insane. 21,000 CUDA cores.
My question is, how in the world are we going to sustain an electrical grid between NVIDIA and electric cars?
NVIDIA's having, I don't know, I don't want to say resurgence, but like between their AI stuff and like things like this, 21,000 CUDA cores, that's 33% more than the 4090 has. And they're saying that this card is going to be around $2,500. $2,500.
I know.
You can build a computer today that's pretty substantial that'll last you 5, 6, 7 years for that kind of money right now. So let's compare. The 4090 has 16 cores, 24 gigs of DDR6. They're almost doubling everything, but it only needs 400. We complained at 450 watts for this new card. And that one wants 600 watts. This one's $1,500. They're already added another grand to that.
You literally, with what they're doing, by the time you put all of the components into a computer, are going to need like a 2,500 watt generator to run your computer.
Yes. Yes, you are.
Like if the power goes out, you're gonna need like two generators, one for your fridge and one for your computer. Because you can't run them both.
Oh, no, not at all. I don't know if it's worth the money. At least not right now. There's no way to justify
it's not
it.
worth the money, in my opinion. I mean, how many people actually would need this?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I cannot think, other than to say I have it, I cannot think of a single reason that you need this thing.
No, I would agree.
There's not an application, a game,
nothing,
a business requirement. No, I can't think of a single thing.
There is none.
Unless you're acquiring 23andMe and you want to model everybody's DNA at the same time.
Nice callback. Well done. Yeah, I have no idea why you would need something like this. I mean, I have here in the studio, I have a 4090, and I mean, it doesn't even work hard. And I'm running 3 monitors, multiple things. It's not. And
you're probably peaking what? Low to mid 20s when you're taxing it at its hardest.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen it go over 30% ever.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
upstairs on the stick style machine, that's a 2080 Ti. I mean, that thing just runs solid. That thing won't die. So speaking of games, the Deadlock game, I haven't had a chance to play because it's invite only, but Valve makes it, and it's supposed to be pretty good. I don't know if it's good or not because I haven't played it, but I can tell you that Valve is doing the right thing with cheaters. And we've talked about this, over the years. Fremo and I were moderators in the early days of Xbox, and cheaters are always going to be there, and it's always going to be a problem. You have on one side you have games like some of the Call of Duty games or Modern Warfare games, or that just suck. There's so many cheaters in them you can't even play it. But then you have other games. Fortnite is a good example that I've seen where people are really good shots and they get banned or they get kicked out of a game. It's really to each their own. And then on a completely different spectrum, you have douchebags like me and Fremo that will just kick you out of a room because just because you were the fifth person in the room. We're going to kick you out anyway. Every 5 people.
Yeah, that's still a long-standing rule.
Yeah, absolutely. It sucks when you come in at 5. Even when it's one of us and we come in and we go 1, 2, 3. Oh shit! See you guys in a minute.
Yeah.
And then you
hope that the room doesn't fill before you get back in.
Exactly.
I made the rule and I live by it. If I get kicked and I can't get back in, I just go start another room.
Yeah.
And wait for an invite or wait for people to come over.
They all getting kicked out. So cheaters in the Valve Deadlock game, cheaters will be turned into helpless frogs, which I think is great. And it's up to the opposing team to decide. They'll have a choice of either kicking and banning the person or leave them as a frog for the remainder of the game. And then they get banned after the game's over. So Valve does things like this. Like Team Fortress 2, for instance. Players who didn't use the hat cheat while idle were rewarded with a hat with a halo later on. And it's not just Valve. In Warzone, which is plagued with cheaters, in Warzone, when you got caught cheating, your character would either have hallucinations while in game, or they would disable the person's parachutes.
So you got killed, you're just dying over and over again.
Yeah. And in Fall Guys, which I think is another great idea. In Fall Guys, if you get caught cheating, you get moved to your own island with the other cheaters.
Yeah, and that's fine. That's fine. I mean, it would almost be. Because I get it. There's people that are like, well, I'm not cheating. I'm just modding. Well, okay, but 99% of the people you're playing against aren't modding. So to them, it's cheating.
Right.
So, if I was ever in a position to develop a game, I would just have regular in-game, and then if you want to mod, come over here. This is where you're doing it.
There's while you
just
were
straight
saying
up.
that,
Here's for here's for everybody else. Here's for you guys who are modding, hacking, doing whatever.
Right.
And you need to go here straight up, because if you don't, you go to the regular everybody game mode and you get caught, then you're never playing the game.
And there was a game, I don't remember, the whole time you were talking, I was trying to remember. There was a game that kind of did that, where you had a choice between modded and unmodded. So you can go in the rooms with the modded people and have at it and see people disappearing and trucks flying over your head. Or you can just stay in an unmodded room. I think it's kind of cool how they're doing that. Even Counter-Strike will turn you into a chicken and make you play the whole game as a chicken, which is great too. So moving on, one of my favorite headsets. Now, I have a headset here, which is the Corsair, just because I had all Corsair stuff. That's why I have it. But my favorite headset, and we've talked about it on the show before, without a doubt, is SteelSeries. They make the best headset for anything. And now SteelSeries is coming out with Arctis Game Buds, earbuds. I have some here. What are these? I hardly use these, and I got to use them more. I don't know if they're Beats. But I do have a pair of Raycons upstairs, which I really enjoy using. For buds, but SteelSeries coming out with these. I'm tempted to get them and see how they go. They have a white one for the PlayStation, of course, and a black one.
You think you'll
for
get
the
these
Xbox.
before the 5090, or
probably right around the same time? I want to just deplete my bank account completely. They're saying that they're over now. Again, there's two different kinds because, as usual, Xbox has a proprietary headset or proprietary connection method.
communication connection.
Yeah, it's proprietary. So you can buy something that's good for the PlayStation and it'll work on your PC and your phone and your tablet, or you can buy one that'll do basically the Xbox, and I think it'll do PC. I don't remember. I think it just does Xbox. But they're talking about these buds having 10 hours of battery life, and the case is going to need to be recharged every 40 hours. I think it was. The case also is Qi charging as well as USB-C cable. Steel Series
That's cool.
Steel Series scanned the ears of 62,000 people to get the fit just right. And you have noise canceling, which is pretty cool. And all of that for $160. So it's technically cheaper than some of their higher end headsets, like the Arctis One, I believe it is, or the Arctis Pro is like 200 and change. This is $160. And I can tell you from using earbuds a couple
the
of
pros
times.
are all pushing 300.
Yeah. And using earbuds here on the show a couple of times, it was great. Using the earbuds upstairs on the stick style machine, I've really enjoyed when I'm doing show notes and stuff. I like earbuds. I think they're good. I'm never probably going to get away from cans because I just like headphone cans, but earbuds are great, especially if they're handy. And you don't have to worry about, like Raycon just did a commercial, or not a commercial, but they sent me an email, and they were talking about the comparison between the competitors, which was obviously AirPods, and they were
Right.
showing them, and they said fits perfectly on the Raycon side. On the other side, they went the AirPod side. They're like, yeah, it fell out again. AirPods, as much as I like AirPods and Apple products, those damn things fall out of your head all the time. They never fit snugly. I don't care who you are and what you say. They don't. You always feel like if
who
you move
knows?
around.
Maybe Apple buys 23andMe and they can do custom AirPods based on your DNA.
Maybe that's the thing. Let's talk about something that is very cool for both Freebo and I. Starfield Shattered Space is just around the corner. Wearing my Starfield shirt. Yeah, wearing my Starfield shirt right here. It's coming out tomorrow, actually, and it's going to be a good thing. It's nice to be able to have another. Now, I have a problem right now where I gotta play this game for the next 24 hours or so because I am dying horribly. I ended up doing the Game Plus, and I just kept doing the Game Plus. Game Plus, it was fun. Get in there. It takes you like an hour
Do
or
you know
so.
that there's a hidden planet
No, you went to all the
next to
planets.
Jemison and Alpha Centauri?
There is.
Yeah, you go to it and they tell you that the planet's full of terraformers, not to go down there. The military's taking care of it.
No, you're the one that's been
Have
all
you run
around the
across that?
galaxy. No, but I am this afternoon. I'm gonna go
Yeah,
find it.
it's in the solar system with the Jemison, the main
Yeah.
planet that you start on, where the constellation group is.
Yeah.
I landed.
Did you?
Yeah,
How'd it go?
there's terramorphs all over the place, and I'm two-shot killing them.
Wow. See, on the exact, what I was going to say before, on the exact opposite of the spectrum,
I got a hard target rifle that is
I
absolutely
have,
phenomenal, and my stealth is so high that if I'm crouched in stealth mode and I take a shot, I do 8 times the damage.
wow.
Yeah, 2 shots, terramorphs dead.
So on the exact opposite side of the spectrum, whatever I did last time I played, I screwed myself with weapons. I have not one good damn weapon. I can't tell you what the names of them are off the top of my head, but they're all the same weapons that you always have. They're just extremely low powered. Like I can't even kill your basic person on Aquila. It's awful. So I got to rethink things this afternoon and try to figure out what I'm going to get into, and I got to get other guns before this expansion comes out. Or else
Every gun you get needs to be in the assassin class. It needs to say assassin in the name.
right, and I don't have any right now, and I haven't come across any. And when I go buy them, they're way too expensive because I have no money. It's a catch-22, and I got to figure out. And I even went to do a previous game save, and even that failed miserably because I don't have any back enough far enough.
Do you go to any of the, like if you land on a planet and there's like a abandoned pharmaceutical or abandoned hangar or elliptic garrison or any of that stuff? Do you ever go to those?
Of course, yeah, I've come across those.
Okay.
Seriously,
There's some that you pretty much can get certain things at them every time you go to them. I
I don't disagree with you. I have the worst luck in this game playthrough. the worst luck. I am not getting anything, and when money drops, it's like 500 credits instead of like 5,000. I have the worst luck in this one, and I'm pretty sure it's because of the amount of times I did. Because every time you do Game Plus, it's supposed to change.
Would you say that doing the Game Plus has degraded your enjoyment of the game?
No, if stopping doing Game Plus ruined the enjoyment of the game. When I was doing Game Plus over and over again, I automatically had really good weapons. Not automatically, but I had good weapons. I had a short run through, so you had the satisfaction of completing something. And then when I stopped, I went, nah, I'm going to go I think I told you one night. I was like, I'm just going to go through it again, do the full story mode. Awful. It was fun the first time, but again, right now it's awful because I know what I can have. I know I can have that great gun. I know I can have that great experience. And now I'm sitting there trying to find an old timer at Aquila or Galbank trying to get a map to find some other it's not as enjoyable as it was. But I'm going to fix that hopefully today. Within the next 24 hours, I'm going to fix that.
And I'm still having a blast, and I've never even finished the storyline the first time. I don't even know how far along it I am. And I'm
I
still
don't
having a
know.
blast.
I don't know exactly. Well, so this is the first Starfield expansion, and you haven't gotten it yet. It's going to cost you $30 tomorrow to get it. Check the links in the show notes for the release times, but Bethesda's already recommending that you start at a level 35 to get on that. And that, Fremo, you're what, at 100 and something now? I'm only at a 72.
Yeah, I might be at 135. I don't know.
So you have to be at a 35 to get on that. I'll be playing at 11. Well, at least that's the time that Bethesda told me that it's going to be available on the East Coast is 11 o'clock. Actually be probably, after 3 or 4 server crashes, it'll probably be around 3 o'clock before everybody gets in there. But it's going to be fun. I look forward to a new story arc. I just got to get some weapons and get through what I'm currently doing. That way I can have
New
the ability.
story arc. I haven't even finished the original one.
Well, think of it like I don't think it's going to affect that. I think it's just a side mission. I think it's just going to be a side mission like we would do any of the other side missions. Like was it the caves in Jemison, or it's going to be like one of those little side missions. I don't think it's going to be
Caves? What caves?
not caves. Well, down below the city, underneath the city on Jemison. You've never been down there? You've never
Like
been
where
down
all
there?
the undesirables are?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been down there. You go to
Okay.
the main government building. Instead of going in, you go down the ramp, you turn left, you take the elevator to the bottom.
You take the elevator. Listen, you sounded like a New Englander. You go over there. You take the elevator down to the bottom. And you get to the bottom, you're there. Oh, you're killing me. All right, finally this week, let's talk about the PS5 anniversary. Oh, let me tell you.
Let's.
Let me tell you about my experience. All right, so as you can see behind me and, in the other room, I like collecting a few things. I like collecting controllers. I like collecting consoles.
Jeez.
And I saw this at first, and I'm like, oh my gosh, this whole setup where you get the PlayStation 5 Pro, the controller, the
I don't know if his brain caught that.
what? I didn't catch it.
Yeah, you'll have to go back and watch it then.
Okay. So the 30th anniversary, you get the PlayStation Pro, which is $700. You get the controller, you get a DualSense Edge controller, which is their elite controller, and you get a charging station, all in the original gray color, and the rainbow icon.
I've heard great things about that controller.
Yeah.
When are
it's
they going to
uncontrolled.
release a game so you can actually use it?
They already did it. Astrobot. That's about the size of it. It is a really good controller. If I had to rate controllers, I would put it above the Elite 2, but below the original Elite controller from Xbox. I still think the original Elite controller is the best controller.
Yeah.
But
It was a nice one. That's for sure.
yeah. And one other thing with that 30th kit, you get that like Steam Deck type thing that really wasn't received well. So all of these things happen, and I get on at midnight. Like I take a little nap in the afternoon, late afternoon when I got home. I get on at midnight and I start refreshing a page. I'm like, I'm getting this son of a bitch. But I'm cautious because of the sticker shock I'm probably going to see. All of these things, I'm thinking 2,500, $3,000 for the set. Excuse me. And they're only releasing 12,000 of these. So I'm really cautious, but I'm doing it. And then it's like, it keeps saying, putting you in status or please stand by till 3 a.m. Then I'm like, you know what? I'm exhausted. I'll just come back in the morning and see if there's anything left. So I go to bed. I get back on at 6 a.m. and I start refresh. And the refresh is like, put me in a queue and it just says, please stand by. So then, and I'm like still wondering, I'm like, when is this thing releasing? Like they never told anybody when it was. Then I refreshed the page again, probably around 7 or so. And it said pre-orders start at 10 a.m. I'm like, well, ain't that some shit? So this was like maybe 8:45. I'm like, all right, let me run down. I gotta run somewhere real quick. Let me go do that and I'll come back. So I leave the computer on and
Oh,
everything.
are you serious? Your Dunkin' run caused you not to be able to get one?
I actually had to run to work, but yes, for the most part, yes. Well, I can't even say that because when I got back home, it was 9:50. And I hit refresh and I was still in my queue and I was still waiting. 10 o'clock comes around, 10:03. I'm like, nothing's moving, nothing's changing. Let me refresh the page. I refresh the page. It puts me back in another queue. It says, please wait. I wait for the allotted amount of time. Now it's like 10:18. I get into the thing. I immediately scroll down. Nothing is available. All of it says out of stock. And the thing that kicked me right in the balls was that the entire large kit that you would expect. Now, remember, the PlayStation PS5 Pro is $700. They're selling this whole entire collection for $1,000. I'm like, wow, that is a deal. Because that controller, the DualSense Edge, is like $250. So you're getting a bargain on this. And I'm like, oh, I got it. This is bullshit. Scrolling down, refreshing. The only thing that was available was a regular controller in the 30-ish anniversary style. So I put that in my cart. I go to cash out, and that breaks. Checkout button's not working. I'm refreshing the page. And then like the third or fourth time I refreshed the page, it said not available. I'm like, this is some bullshit. So now I'm just pissed. Wasted a bunch of time. I'm pissed. I'm like, I'm going to hate to do this, but let me run over to eBay. eBay has them. Now remember, for those that don't know, you would expect that type of collection with that amount of items in it to be like $2,000, $2,500. The fact that I know that it was only $1,000 and they're on eBay for $4,000 to $5,000 immediately pissed me off.
4 to 5
Immediately.
is the average, dude. There's some out here more than that.
Well, there is, and as we've done before,
10,000,
No, no, wait, wait.
99.99, 8,000.
Hold on, the winner. There's a winner here because we do this every time that we have to deal with eBay. We always tell you there's that one person that just has big old brass balls that touch the floor. I found that guy. And the one that caught my eye was for $50,000. But what a great story from Riley823. I'm going to read it. And it's all quoted. This is exactly what he wrote. Obviously, again, the best thing out there right now. PS5 Pro 30th Edition bundle coming in hot and ready for your doorstep in the USA. But wait, there's more. I'm not going to trust the Postal Service to deliver this to you, which is why I will be personally delivering it to you doorstep once I get a new car. Oh, and that's the other part of the story. And the reason for this price. See, I was going to work and really enjoying my Monster Energy drink. Life was going great that day. The night before, I got a full 4.5 hours of sleep after putting 3 kids to bed and walking the dog and cleaning up its mess in my house. Still isn't potty trained yet. I was almost at work after an hour commute early in the morning, and nature decided I had it too good and sent the full destructive force of an animal that always seems to be in the wrong place at the right time into the side of my car, causing it to become redecorated from the outside in with beautiful antler craft shards, beautiful antlers and crafted shards of glass inside my interior and around my body. That was probably one of the most unnecessary things I have ever had to experience, and nature had no reason to single me out like that. I mean, I drive well in Impreza, very fuel efficient, had low miles, made with zero impact on the environment when it was made. That's Subaru's words. I also work with a ton of truck owners, and that animal, filled with rage, couldn't just target one of them instead. Anyways, thankfully, I was able to walk away. Not so much for the animal. The car was totaled, and I need to buy a new one, at least new to me. I'm about to go through my midlife crisis, so I'll probably end up getting a blue Jeep, because I always wanted one. And with your help, I can do that and finally put this tragic ordeal behind me. Now, back to me delivering the best console of our time. Wherever you live in the USA, I will be personally driving to see you and deliver it safely in my new Jeep, while wearing one of my many Hawaiian shirts and Costa Del Mar sunglasses, because you have to protect your eyes from the sun. And the PS5 Pro 30th edition bundle will be in my front seat, buckled up next to me for safety. I know what you're thinking, and yes, I could hit another animal along the way and be delayed. Well, don't worry, I've thought that out too. I will also be buying a T-shirt cannon that me and some of my redneck buddies, we are not hillbillies, learn the difference. We will be modifying to project corn pellets 300 yards from my car to distract them from my new ride. If one does manage to not go for the food, as a last resort, we will be installing a snowplow in the front of the vehicle to move the animal out of the way with the least amount of impact possible. And to ensure the animal's safety, as it is flying through the air, there will be a separate vehicle behind me hauling a bouncy castle that will try to catch the animal in mid-flight before it hits the ground. He's got photos for all of this, too. When I finally make it to your state, please plan on sightseeing with me as well. And I've made a list of things that I can do while visiting you and hoping that you want to join me on these adventures. And he drew a photo of all the states and what he wants to see in each state. In short, I'm hoping we can become lifelong friends and play together on the PlayStation 5 Pro 30th anniversary bundle you just purchased for me. Yes, I want to come over for sleepover sometimes. I'll pay for the pizza and the Blockbuster rentals. Also, in the 7th photo, for ideas for fun as well, if you live in Ohio. Not a very detailed photo, but it gets the point across. Thank you for looking at my auction, and please buy it now. I know my driving skills are worth it, and I put a lot of effort into the plan, and the PS5 Pro 30th anniversary bundle is a nice bonus, as well as getting a steal and a new best friend. I'm also adding local pickup if you want, because I live in a pretty cool place as well, minus the deer. And that was his auction. And if I had $50,000 of disposable income, I would 100% buy it from him.
Absolutely.
That is priceless. And he's got pictures of the car, which is totaled from the deer. He's got pictures of the roadmap he's going to use. He's got pictures of the T-shirt bazooka. Like it's well thought out and hilarious for $50,000.
Yeah, if I had an extra 50 grand lying around, I'd buy it. Under the condition that he has to pick me up to deliver it to you.
Oh, that would be kind of cool. That would be an event.
I got no use for a PlayStation.
No, you don't. You definitely don't. So I'm still on the fence about actually buying it. The wife keeps telling me I should get it on an auction, one of the cheaper auctions. I'm like, I just don't know. I want it as a collector. I want it, but
oh no, man! Even the cheap
prices,
ones are creeping up there.
The cheap ones are like $1,500 to $2,000, and those are the regular edition with just a single controller. These full PlayStation Pro kits.
Pre-sale 30th anniversary PlayStation 5 Slim Bundle, not Pro. Pre-order confirmed $520. Yep.
And it's going to go up. It's going to go up from there. I guarantee you it's going to go up from there. Because
oh yeah, I mean I just sorted it from lowest to highest.
Yeah, you can't even get it.
So here we go. Still in the not pros. Still in the not pros. Still in the not pro. Not pro. Not pro. Finally, okay, we just jumped from not pro to pro.
Yeah,
and the cheapest pro is at $3,050 right now.
That's too much money. That's just too much money.
I mean, right. Yeah, especially considering you're not going to ever use it.
I mean, yeah, I would. I would absolutely.
Do you really want to play through God of War that again?
No. I play other games like Warhammer or something like that. I just, I think it looks, I think they look great. Like, even if I could get my hands on a controller or two, I think it looks great. And again, it's that classic gray color from Sony.
If you just like the way it looks and you want to mount it on your wall, we could get the shell.
Well, ironically, I ended up the PlayStation upstairs in the living room died, so I ended up picking up a PS5 for it. and I immediately went to dbrand and looked at the original gray shell that they have. So I'll probably just be getting that plate. All right, let's get to the last section.
Yes, let's.
So first up, let's see. Proof that Google Play Store is hot garbage. I fucking hate Google Play Store with such a fucking passion. I want, and I want to
Quick
say
question. Quick question.
Yeah.
How many Android devices do you have?
None. And let me.
Okay, so why do you even worry about it?
It's a fucking valid point right there. Here's why I look at it, because I think the Google Pixel phone is a great phone. I think some of Samsung phones are really good phones. I think their interface is okay. I like the
Oh, dude.
what?
We were in the Verizon store a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Just checking upgrade options for the wife's iPhone because she's on a 14, and oh my God, 16s are coming out.
I miss my 14.
But that's what I try to tell her. It's a great phone, but
It is.
anyway, they don't even carry anything in. I'm like looking around at what they have in store. It's all Samsung or Apple
Yeah.
in store, and I was like,
No Motorola's.
yeah.
Google
And I asked the
Pixels,
guy, I was
yeah.
like, what happened to Google phones? I was like, y'all don't have any Motorola, Lenovo branded stuff out here. He's like, nope. All we have in store is is Samsung and Apple. If you want anything other than that, you have to go through the website. And I'm just like, okay.
So my issue with the whole Samsung and Android platform is, firstly, Samsung. You make a lot of phones. You are considerably the number one or number two at any given time phone manufacturer, behind Apple or in front of Apple. It's debatable, but you cannot get them repaired. Best Buy doesn't repair them anymore. Break iFix doesn't repair them anymore. So if you don't have a very good local mom and pop place, or you want to send it directly to Samsung, you're screwed. And that's really shitty to deal with the customers. The second thing is your
No, that's a brilliant business model.
well,
They're
yeah,
making their phones disposable. Just go get another one.
but their phones are expensive and they're not that easy to be disposable. But the further point is that your platform is really good. Android is a very good platform. Whether you like the way it looks or not, it doesn't matter because you can change it. The problem I have is that you allow side loading, which you and I've talked about before. And I think side loading is bad. Even for Apple doing it in the UK, I think it's bad. But at least Apple's
Everybody does side loading now.
right. But at least with Apple, you can go to the Apple App Store and you have good quality stuff, and there's a lot in there. The Google Play Store is notorious for having garbage in it. And not just garbage, but look at 5 years ago. A legitimate app was made malicious in the App Store.
I ain't gonna lie. The Google Play Store, it's the wild, wild west, baby.
Yeah,
I love it.
and yeah, I love it. And it shouldn't be. The app infected the
If you're an
code.
idiot, you're gonna get what you deserve.
The app infected the code to create 100 million users to connect to an attacker-controlled server and download a secret payload. Now there's another one on there that affected 11 million users. It's called
This is just the
What?
the new age digital lifestyle version of natural selection.
It's very well. The program is called Necro, and it uses the same advertising loophole that the previous one did. And right now it's found in two apps. The Wuta camera, which has since been updated, so that should be fixed unless you have an older version and you don't know, like most people, don't know how to update your apps or your phone. The other is Max Browser, which God only knows how many people have that on their phone.
Here's my thing. Your phone comes with a camera. Your phone comes with camera software that utilizes all the aspects of the phone.
Yeah.
Why do you need a camera app?
There is so many people. Look, why do you need another browser app? You have Google built into most of these phones, as well as Samsung's
Exactly.
browser.
That's my point. That's
Right.
my point.
Because look, in my experience
You're
of dealing
being
with,
sold. You're being sold a bill of goods with all this stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, our camera app has these filters built in. You can do this with it. You can do that with it. Yeah. Okay. And what are you getting out of it? That's the question nobody asks.
right.
If people would slow down for half a second, why is this free? What are they getting out of this?
Well, it's even, in my opinion, it's even bigger than that. Because the amount that I deal with this on a daily basis
Like
at work,
the new phrase, instead of there ain't no such thing as a free lunch, there ain't no such thing as a free app.
that is a fact. Why are you throwing that at me?
I
Scared the
don't know,
shit out of
something
me.
just dive
In
bombed
the
you.
middle of a damn show. Just hang on. Got like 2 stories to go, damn it. That scared
Who
the
was that?
shit. I think I pooed my pants. My wife. All right, hold on. Because of side loading, these apps from other sites are
She
effective.
might have thrown it at you because of what I said earlier that she didn't catch.
Uh, there's other apps that can be compromised, like Spotify, Minecraft, WhatsApp, Stumble Guys, Car Parking Player. But a lot of times, to answer your question before, um, a lot of times I feel that the problem is that these people, especially the older generation, the boomers, they'll turn around and they'll hear from a friend of a friend of a friend that if they get this browser, it's going to be super safe. Or if they do this app, I use this camera app because it allows me to crop at a certain degree. I don't know. There's all these little weird things, and those are the ones that can be infected, and side loading is not helping. All right, let's get on to the next story because that one's just going to piss us off. Qualcomm wants to buy Intel. Did you hear this one? That is
Yeah.
weird. It is unclear how how Qualcomm could afford the chip maker, but Qualcomm is sitting on $13 billion, but Intel's worth is around $188 billion. So I don't know what the play here is, but I mean,
It
is
won't happen.
it for their GPU business?
It won't happen.
No, it's not going to happen. There's no way. There's no way it can happen. Just
If Broadcom wasn't allowed to buy Qualcomm,
yeah,
because the U.S. government nixed that with their
correct.
antitrust, da 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 da.
Yeah,
If Broadcom couldn't get Qualcomm because of that, there's no way in hell they should let Qualcomm get Intel.
I would 100% agree. All right, let's hit the last story for this week. Russia, what the blue hell are you doing?
Are you on a clock?
Yeah. Uh,
Okay.
some Kaspersky
I'll quit
customers.
trying to interject the funny then.
No. Some Kaspersky customers are getting a forced update, which is weird. Now, Kaspersky is a software, an antivirus software that comes out of Russia, and it's been
not
recent,
weird. It's mandated by the government.
right, that you have to remove it from your computer. What I think is way shady is that what Kaspersky is doing is they're automatically removing Kaspersky from your computer and installing a new AV called Ultra AV, an Ultra VPN, which I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I ran something not too long ago that triggered Ultra AV as malware. Now,
Well, here's the thing. The U.S. government said that Kaspersky could no longer do business in this country. They could not sell their AV, et cetera, et cetera.
yeah,
So a U.S. based company got
Yep.
handed that customer base,
yep,
and they took the Russian software off and put the Ultra AV on. But the fact that this was initiated by Kaspersky,
right.
is this really a U.S. based company?
You're a software guy. When you have a software issue with access and permissions, now is it out of the realm of possibility that the new AV product has the exact same permissions, right? If they're doing something
Oh,
like this,
absolutely.
you're not authorizing anything. You're just going by the previous EULA. That's going to cause a problem. Like you said, you're not going to know anything. I don't know.
It's a shell. It's a shell. Ultra AV is a shell. There's
Yeah.
no difference.
I would agree. All right. Do you have anything else for this week?
Yeah, actually I do.
Oh my gosh.
Let's see if this makes you giggle. If I can get it to focus.
And then it's Warhammer. Fortnite below. I can't see anything else. It's not focusing. You still got that blur on. You got to get that thing out of there. Oh, 54. How long is it going to take? 8 minutes? 15 minutes? 27 minutes? I can't see that shit.
I'm downloading it. It'll be on at some point.
Oh, cool. All right. That's it for this week. 10 Down show's over.
So you can find more of this garbage at bgfgonline.com. You can also send us an email with your questions or suggestions at bgfgshow@gmail.com. Find our podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Overcast, Podcast, Castro, Castbox, Podchaser, and YouTube. Thank you for listening.
All right.
So I want to tell
Oh,
you
sir.
what I said when you were talking about things that you like